Hello, beautiful people. I have a question for you. Why don't we have fur? Why don't we have claws? Why don't we have fangs? Why are we so ill suited to survival on planet Earth? We actually have to learn survival skills. Why are we the only species on the planet that has to make a tool to dig up our food or to catch our food out of the water? Hmm, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight in this next episode. And the real God is not in the Bible. Where did we come from? Getting to those ancient secrets, the mysteries that surround us. And if we look right at our anatomy, we have a clue of the biological and genetic tinkering of the Elohim. The Bible calls them the Elohim. None other than the Anuna gods, which weren't gods, none other than what we know as the Anunnaki. Yes, the Bible is not from God. The Bible is not about God. The Bible is not inspired by God. The Bible is an incredible collection of literature, definitely not anything that people have to abide by, definitely not anything that you have to adhere to and obey. The Bible is a collection of mythology and allegory and astrology and ancient teachings and mystical understanding of the cosmos and prophecy and paleo contact with extraterrestrials. That means people, beings. I don't even know if it's appropriate to call them people, beings that were from other star systems, advanced beings that had a big hand in genetically shaping us. Homo sapien sapien. Let's talk about it. And we're going to talk about the science behind it too. I'm going to take you inside the book. The real God is not in the Bible. I'm going to take you inside the book and we're going to look at where did we come from? Because the Bible says, in the beginning, Genesis 1 1, in the beginning, the Elohim. And in the real Hebrew, the original Hebrew, it doesn't say in the beginning of the whole world. It's more alluding to in the beginning of this story. But there was already a world before this story started happening. It's picking up in the middle. It's not at the beginning. That's not what they taught us in church. They taught us in church that Genesis is the beginning of everything. No, it's not. This world didn't start 6,000 years ago. Science has already proven that our planet is something like 400 billion years old. And they have found bones of actual beings that have walked this earth that are hundreds of thousands, million years old. So, how could quote unquote a God, Yahweh, Jehovah, El Elyon, whatever you like to call him, there's a lot of different ways that they refer to it in the Bible. How is it that that being created Adam and Eve? Not possible. Not possible. It doesn't add up. The story does not add up. Never miss a comment. Oh, wait a minute. Never miss it. Hey, Aurora Day. Mwah. How you loving, beautiful queen? Hi, how are you? So good to hear you. The African wolf said, preach. And African wolf, as we know, it all started in Africa anyway, because the oldest beings that they found are in Africa. So science likes to tell you that all of human civilization dates back to Sumer. No, it doesn't. It goes back much further than that, as we talked about, to African Stonehenge, which is in the southernmost part of Africa, also known as the Abzu by the Anunnaki, and that in the Abzu is where Enki himself was, and where he and Ninhursag did their genetic manipulations until they came up with us. There were several failed attempts till they came up with us. Okay, so let's talk about it. And I like when people put things in the comments like, we already know this. That's good. It's good. You know it. The whole rest of the world, the billions of people on the planet. Do you understand that if you know this information, you are in the cutting edge of humans on this planet? Most humans on this planet have not even thought about this information, don't want to hear about this information, think this information is conspiracy theories, thinks it's groundless, thinks it's baseless. Even scientists will say, even though they don't have the answers, they will still poo poo it. Ah, oh, Anunnaki, no, no. Paleo contact, no, couldn't have happened. So that's why we continue to talk about it, so that we bring this conversation to the forefront of the global consciousness. It's not okay for just us to know about it, right? This needs to be on the global stage. This is a global conversation about all humanity and where we came from and where we're going as a species. And will we be able to even enter the Galactic Federation? There's already a federation of beings from Sirius, Pleiades, Orion. Can we enter the Galactic Federation? No, because we want to act like dumbasses and we want to act like the stuff doesn't exist and they're just playing over our heads. All the extraterrestrial beings are like, one day they'll catch up. Like, what are they doing on planet Earth? They're doing the most. Because we're still down here believing, not you and I, of course, but the masses on this planet, even after so many people have had experiences, abduction experiences, experiences with extraterrestrials, otherworldly experiences, supernatural experiences, near death experiences. I think they're all related. And the reason I think they're all related is because I do believe that the advanced beings have knowledge of dimensions beyond our own, and we're tapping into those dimensions for some of their what look like magical abilities. I think they were tapped into something far beyond this third dimensional experience. Well, I can't say it's third dimensional because it's three dimensions of space and one dimension of time. So I guess you could say four dimensions according to what the scientists say. And what I am saying is, we have all had too many inexplicable experiences to dismiss things that people are saying when people have contact experiences. When they have, even when you go to sleep at night and you have a dream and some beings carry you off in your dream, how do we know that that's not accurate? Why are we just dismissing, it's just a dream, doesn't mean anything? That's what the average person will tell you, and that is a lie. So for all of us who have had these otherworldly experiences, we've been on plant medicine and we've met beings that were not of this earth. I've been in many plant medicine experiences and met beings. I don't know what dimensions they were in. And I know a lot of people that have met beings, near death experience people, people who have had experiences of abduction, people who have a lot of experiences. And we cannot ignore these experiences because they don't fit into the nice scientific, they don't fit neatly into the little scientific paradigm that we've made up. The materialist, little tiny box that we've made. There is so much more going on in this universe than we know about. It would stun us. So let's be open to that. Now, the next thing I want to say is, isn't that something? We have hair all over. Isn't that interesting, Angie Williams? Why don't we have fur, right? Why don't we? Well, we don't have fur. We have this little fine hair, but we don't have fur. Like, you can't even go outside if it's less than 60 degrees with nothing on and stay out there for an extended period of time. By the time it gets in the 50s, we're starting to shiver. If you had no clothes on, if you were completely nude, do we understand we are the only species that has that issue? All the other species on this planet, right? It doesn't fit the narrative. That's exactly right. All the other species on this planet. Look at lions, look at tigers, look at bears, look at snakes, look at birds. They're all perfectly suited to their environment, which tells you that they are naturally in their habitat. We are not natural to the habitat. We were engineered. Chimpanzees are natural to the habitat. They have fur completely covering. They have ways that they can hook from branch to branch. Is very easy. Try to get some of us to swing from branch to branch. Wouldn't happen. something happened. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Like, I was thinking about that. How come we're the outlier? We don't have claws. Like, look at a mama bear. She could swipe a person, they'd be dead. Look at the fangs on everything. They can just grab something and bite into it and eat it. We can't. We have to cook it. You see all those people, even those people that are outside of nature, they're taking the rabbit and roasting it over a spit before they can get the meat to the place where you can pluck it off and chew it. We can't bite into just a rabbit and just eat it. But that's what everything in nature does that is carnivorous. If a snake is carnivorous, it has the fangs and it has the ability to eat a mouse. If a, a lion has the ability to kill a gazelle, if it doesn't, it dies. A bear has the ability to stand in water and swipe out and grab salmon and chuck them in their mouth, choo choo choo, and digest it. We can't do that. Something is up with us. something, is, something is going on, right? So, when you put that together with what the Bible is telling us, because I love the Bible, I'm a Christian witch, I love the Bible. When you put that together with what the Bible is telling us, and with all of the information that we are garnering from all over the world, from ancient sites, from megalithic structures, from Egypt, from Teotihuacan, from Dirinkuyu, from all of these places all over the world, that says something very big happened on this planet and we don't know what it was. Yet, scientists will still try to tell you, gaslight us. No, there was never anything here other than humans. No, not possible. But they tell us the Bronze Age humans were using Bronze Age tools to create the Great Pyramids. They tell us the Sphinx is only a few thousand years old, yet the Sphinx has water damage. When is the last time that the Sphinx, that there was that much water over there? Before the Younger Dryas, which was over 12,000 years ago, 11,600 years ago. The Sphinx has water damage. How can it have water damage? It's in the middle of the desert. It doesn't add up. So anytime we see the mainstream narratives that they are seeking to get us to believe, we get to ask questions about that, and we get to do our research and do critical thinking, right? We've got to pull up our critical thinking skills, and we analyze the data that is in front of us. I do not mean going off on wild goose chases and unsubstantiated claims. I am talking about the actual real evidence that is all over this planet for an advanced civilization that inhabited this planet many hundreds of thousands of years ago with us. And in addition to all of the megalithic structures, all of that make us scratch our heads. How did they build this and why, when it defies our ability today to create it? Engineers today are scratching their head at, we don't really know how they built this. Some of these blocks are 100 tons. How hard or easy is it for us to lift 100 tons? These beings were lifting 100 tons like nothing. You know what they were using? Energy, sound. That was proven in Africa. When you look at the stone circles all over Africa and greater Zimbabwe, there's millions of them, stone circles all throughout Africa, millions of them, the southern part of Africa. What were these for? And they say, oh, it was for cattle. Such a pat answer they like to give us about these things. It wasn't for cattle because some of the circles are completely encircled. There's no opening. You can't walk in and you can't walk out. Later, peoples opened it and used it for cattle. That was not the original creation for this. And then they tried to tell us, oh, the people that lived there, the bush people built it. They bought the stones from miles away and carried them and put them in these perfect formations and made millions of them. Who were these people? Super people? So we've got to understand there are gaps and holes in the story. So if anyone ever tells you that they can't get with the Anunnaki, they can't get with all the stuff that you're talking about, well, you can't really believe the Christian narrative, and you can't the traditional Christian narrative, and you certainly can't believe the mainstream narrative. Hell no. Love your videos, Valerie. Hey, how you loving? I'm so happy you're here. I don't really believe or think that we come from the, let's see. I don't really believe or think that we come from the apes family, but it's very interesting that they have a high percentage of human DNA, just like us. Same with dogs and cats. Excellent point. Excellent point. We're about to cover why that is in a moment. We're going to talk about that, why that is in a moment. There was giants that built the pyramids. Hello. On my first trip to Egypt, so I've been to Egypt a couple of times, and we're taking another group to Egypt again in September of 2026. Go to valerielove.com and click on global events, or you can go to christianwitches.com and click on events, and you will be able to download a brochure about Egypt. On my first trip to Egypt, I asked the Egyptologist, because they make you become an Egyptologist so that you can get the mainstream story stuffed into your head, right? The mainstream story that they want you telling all the tourists. That the Great Pyramids of Egypt were, um, they say that they were mortuary pyramids. They're not mortuary pyramids because there were no dead pharaohs ever found in any of those three pyramids. So that's a lie. But they want to persist in telling that story. They want to persist in telling that story, right? You've been there, right? And the interior of the Great Pyramid of Egypt has no hieroglyphics. I keep saying that. I looked on the walls. Now you go to all the other temples, hieroglyphics everywhere. The Egyptians did not build something without putting hieroglyphics anywhere. The Egyptians did not build the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The Egyptians found the Great Pyramids of Egypt. They discovered them. They were already there, have been there for probably over 10,000 years. But they want to tell us that Bronze Age people with their Bronze Age tools were building megalithic structures that required the engineering capabilities beyond what we currently have, and that these stones were brought from way down the Nile River, up the Nile River, and across over into Cairo. Don't make me laugh. Stop it. Do you see that as long as we ourselves, we the people, as long as we do not take on research and study and go discover for ourselves, they will be able to tell us anything they want to tell us. They can make up any bullshit story, and most humans will believe it because they'll just go to the pyramids and take a tour and be like, oh, okay, this was built by the Egyptians. Oh, how amazing. Okay. And this was in Khufu and Khafre and Menkaure. Okay. The tombs of the Great Pyramids. There's no tombs in there. Let's not be ridiculous. I went in to look with my own peepers, looked around. Not one tomb. No hieroglyphics in the main chamber upstairs. Incredible acoustics. Why? Because they knew how to use sound vibration. The thing that when you talk about vibration as a spiritual person to somebody that's religious, I don't know nothing about no energy and vibration. Baby, your whole life is energy and vibration. They were using vibration and sound to lift things. And you know that vibration and sound works because if you put salt on a table and then you play loud music, the salt starts moving. Who denies that? You could do that experiment in your house. I mean, that's not a ridiculous thing to say. Sound moves things. It moves things. The vibration moves things. Tuning forks taught us that. Ding one tuning fork on one side of the room, the other tuning fork on the other side of the room starts moving, but nothing touched it. We already know about vibration and sound. It's the laws of the universe. Om, the great sound of the Earth Mother. is M, 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 M. Mm. That is the sound of the Earth Mother. The moon has a sound. The sun has a sound. The scientists told us they've been listening to the sun. The sun has a sound. That's all vibration. That's energy. But religious people, they're trying to religious people are trying to say, and I don't about no energy. Stop it. You are energy. What do you mean? Religious people. Your words, not mine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go forward. Let's go further. Before we go into what I'm about to show you inside the book, I'm going to take you inside the book and I'm going to show you some things about our ancient ancestors and how this genetic manipulation was taking place, and the fact that the Bible itself tells us that the genetic manipulation was taking place. And you know that the Bible says that the genetic manipulation was taking place because Cain was not Adam's son. Mm-mm. Eve said, the Eve of the Bible, right? Eve said that she got Cain from the Elohim, not from Adam. That means that not only were they, this is trigger warning, I'm about to say something triggery, just a warning. Not only were they genetically engineering a new species, they was getting with the species, they were having sex with the new species. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of information right there. Imagine having sex with an Anunnaki. Like, how big were these beings? And what? So when you hear in the book of Enoch about mixing races, that's what was going on. I don't mean mixing races as in racial colors. I mean mixing classes of entities, let's just say, because quote unquote, the great gods, which the Bible calls the Elohim, also known as the Anunnaki, were different from the Igigi. Okay? Book of Enoch tells you that as well. The book of Enoch says there were different classifications of beings because maybe not all of them came from the same star system. Some could have come from Orion, some could have come from the Pleiades, right? The seven sisters. So, and so these different beings were mixing with the women on the planet because they saw that they were very beautiful and they wanted them. Does that story sound familiar? The Bible told you the story. And the people who doctored up the Bible said, oh my goodness, let's make these angels. They were not angels. There are no angels in the Bible. And I can prove it to you because the original Hebrew says Malachim. What does Malachim mean? It means messenger. And it talks about these messengers walking around with feet, walking around in the desert. They were messengers, humanoid beings. Then, when we had the Latin Vulgate turned it into angelos. Then they picked it up from the Latin Vulgate, not from the Latin Vulgate, the Septuagint. The Septuagint that went from Hebrew to Greek of the Bible changed it to angelos. Some kind of divine messenger or something. When they picked it up from the Septuagint and put it into the Latin Vulgate, they changed it to angel. Then from there, in our Bibles, it became angel. It's a long line of miscommunication. There are no angels in the Bible. I'm not saying there are no angels because many people have had contact with many kinds of beings. I will never deny that. What I'm saying is those beings that they're talking about in the Bible, just like God's not in the Bible, ain't no angels in the Bible, baby. No. They are Malachim. They are flesh and blood beings that were walking around. So when they tell you the story of, oh, the angels left heaven, no, the EGG left the space station that was up there. Oh my goodness. They had a station on Mars. That's why they're still finding interesting technology and a face on Mars. Where did that face come from on Mars? Just questions. Where did the technology come from on Mars? They had a space station on Mars. They had a space station in the sky. And the Igigi, Book of Enoch, calls them the Watchers. And some say that they were fallen angels, and the Book of Enoch says there were 200 quote unquote fallen angels. There was no angels, baby. These ain't no divine beings. These are regular beings just like you and I. Regular beings like you and I. Yeah, and these whole how they try to translate these things. Woo, money in the vortex, money in the vortex, money in the vortex. Woo, woo. Love that. Pierre character flying in the air with a red cape and a smile on his face. Okay. So these beings, supposedly the watchers of the book of Enoch, are the ones who saw that these women were beautiful that the Anunnaki were making, and they were reproducing and reproducing, reproducing. And these women were beautiful. Apparently, us, the human beings, looked better than the Anunnaki women, or maybe better than the Ijiji women that they had. They were like, wow, they're beautiful. We need to have some of them as wives. And why did they have that idea? Because supposedly Marduk, one of the Anunnaki, had a human wife. Supposedly Enki was having sex with the wives, with the well, they weren't his wives. He was having sex with the Eve. There were many Eves. There was more than one Eve. Because remember, there were couples, genetically modified couples. You can't have 8 billion people on the planet from two people. We would have all died off after the fifth or sixth generation. Interbreeding is genetically impossible. But I don't know. Christians want to make you think, oh, all the people on the planet came from Adam and Eve. This is a very kindergarten way of reading Genesis. Very kindergarten. It's not reading into the code of Genesis. It's not looking for the hidden message in Genesis. I'm an occultist. What does occult mean? That which is hidden. It's not plain to see. You've got to read between the lines. You've got to read the code. Goddess worship never went anywhere. People just don't know the code of goddess worship. Goddess worship is all through up and through the Bible. People think the Bible talks about getting rid of the women and denigrating the women. That's why people hate the Bible, because it did the women dirty. Nope. I know, right? I'm a contrarian. No, it didn't. The Bible told you, the Bible is telling on some of the men who tried to get rid of some of the women's rights. The Bible didn't tell you that that's what actually happened. The Bible told you that there were men trying to do this. They never succeeded because goddess worship is still going on. That's what they tried to do. They never succeeded. Goddess worship is still going on. And the Queen of Heaven is right in the Bible, Jeremiah 44, Lilith, Barbello, uh, Proverbs 31, Sophia, Mary, mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, all up and through the Bible. The goddess never went anywhere. The goddess never went anywhere. Don't believe the people that tell you that. Church told you that to try to get women to be submissive to men because they were afraid of the women. Any man that tries to get a woman subverted under his thumb is because he's afraid of the power of that woman. Because I know a lot of powerful men, they never tried to subvert me. Many powerful, amazing men, full blooded men, real men that know who they are, they never tried to stop me from being who I am. Now, you get some weak ass, punk ass men. Yeah, they'll be trying to subvert shit. Those are the kind, some of them that wrote some parts of this Bible. I said it. Okay. Lilith is built on a true character. Oh, yes. Lilith is built on a true character. Yes, she is. Okay. Now, let's go into, before I go on into the book on screen share and show you our anatomy and what is with the Great Revolution. There was a great cognitive revolution. Scientists call it the Great Leap. We're going to talk about the Great Leap in a moment. We've talked about it here too before in the FOXP2 gene, the gene that enables speech, storytelling, advanced cognitive abilities. It was altered in us. I mean, just chew on that. It's pretty astonishing. It's pretty astonishing that people were operating on us without our approval. When without our permission. But I'm kind of glad they did. Otherwise, it would still probably be another million years if Darwin is right that humans would have turned and that we would have shown up. So I'm kind of glad that they came in and did some reconfiguration and made a more advanced being. Okay, before we go on screen share, I want to tell you what I want to answer a question that often comes up in the comments, and I love this question. What's a Christian witch? Because a lot of people, this show is extremely popular. Tons of people watch this show every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I'm so happy you're here. And so a lot of people ask, well, what is the Christian witch? I've never heard of that before. And wow, it's kind of off-putting, but I kind of want to know what it is. And so I like to answer that question. It is very, very simple. It's simply a person who has a Christian background or appreciates Christianity or was in Christianity and may have deconverted, yet they kept certain Christian principles and ideals that worked for them, and they practice witchcraft and magic. It's that simple. It's simply an assimilation or an integration of Christian principles, Christian ideals, and magic and witchcraft. And some people would say, well, you can't do that because the Bible says, well, that's the point of this whole series, that the Bible didn't say that because the Bible is not from God. So God did not say that. So let's find out who really wrote Deuteronomy, who really wrote, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, because people love to throw that at me. And I wrote I'm going to show you the Substack I wrote about it because I answered it on Substack, and I'm going to give you a link to the Christian Witches Substack so that, and then they stopped asking that question because I was able to answer it for them. Substack.com / I'm going to give you the answer to that question right now at Christian Witches. So the whole idea of, oh my God, you can't, hold on. Let me make sure I have this right. Substack. Christian Witches. Spelled it wrong. Boom, here we go. All right, I'm going to get the link for you. Let's go on screen share. And I'll get the link for you right now. And if anybody asks you, oh, but Deuteronomy says, because Christians are quick to say, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what the hell you are talking about. You don't even know where that came from. But you're blind and you're brainwashed, and you think that came from God. You think God made witches and then told other people to kill witches. How does that make sense? But you say God made everybody. That means God made witches too. But we should kill the witches. But your religion is supposed to be about love. And this religion has killed more witches than any other religion in the world. Crazy. I don't give those Christian holy rollers, I don't give them an inch. Could you give those holy rollers, Jesus freaks, an inch? It'll take a doggone mile. You got to stand on your square and meet them eye to eye, toe to toe, and say, boo, I got the truth for you. So them Christians, they don't mess with me. They be talking about me, that Christian witch. One on these Christians crack me up. One of Christian witches. Oh, pardon me. One of them on the Christian witches TikTok said, oh, this page is at 40 something thousand and it only has about 10,000 or 20,000 views on this video. What did it say? And you shall have no more views. And I put a comment. You can always count on the Christians for a good hex or a good curse. But them people, they try to act like they don't know what a hex or a curse is. Christians be cursing and hexing people all the damn time. No problem. Oh man, Christians are so easy to pick on. Let me stop being mean to Christians. They're hilarious. They're so funny. I mean, some of the things they say is hilarious. Okay. Money in the vortex, baby. Come on. Money in the vortex. Let's look on screen share as we do every week. And let's look at facts. Okay. And let's not believe the things people told us. People told us a lot of different things that were not necessarily true. So let me take you to the Christian Witches Substack. And let me, I write on here occasionally on the Christian Witches Substack. I don't write on it all the time. Yeah, I do write on the Christian Witches Substack, especially when I have the inspiration to say something really important. I don't want to joke about things that are very important because these matters are extremely important. So the Christian Witches Substack is here, and let me take you to boom. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Biblical license to kill. Let me give you this link. Copy. You can follow the Christian Witches Substack. We do have a free version of the Christian Witches Substack. And I break down what this scripture means. It doesn't mean what we were told it means in church. Money in the vortex! Woo, woo. Money in the vortex. Money in the vortex. Woo, woo. Keep it up. Yay! I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love to you. Much love to you. Okay. All right. That's why it's good to keep the altar candles lit. That you see them right behind me. You see them altar candles are lit. Them Christians, they don't have a leg to stand on because most of what they've learned in church is a farce, is an absolute farce. Let me take you inside the book. By the way, I love all of you who have bought the book, ValerieLove.com/books. I freaking love all of you who have bought the book. If you are a member on the YouTube channel, you do have the book as a gift. If you are a member of the Christian Witches YouTube channel or a member of the Valerie Love YouTube channel. And I am so thankful. You can buy the book from me, the ebook from the author. There's a link to it right there. Or you can buy the ebook on Amazon right there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who have given amazing reviews. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who have kept this book on bestsellers list in the Amazon store. It has stayed on this bestseller list for weeks since it came out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You freaking rock. I love you. And by the way, please, 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 please leave reviews if you have any of my books. Reviews are so helpful. Let's talk about our anatomy and the Elohim. We are inside of my book, the one I just showed you. And each chapter of the book starts with a quote. And the quotes are just quotes that people are thinking about the Bible, spirituality, and knowledge, wisdom. They're both sides. Some quotes are from people that love the Bible. Some quotes are from people that think it's the most dangerous book on the planet and you need to keep it from your children. There are many people that think that. And somewhere in between. This one is from Malcolm X. Despite my firm convictions, I have been always a man who tries to face facts and to accept the reality of life as new experience and new knowledge unfolds it. I have always kept an open mind, which is necessary to the flexibility that must go hand in hand with every form of intelligent search for truth. This is like a quote from my heart because Malcolm X, thank you, Malcolm, in the realm of the ancestors. Thank you, Malcolm X, for reminding us that it is critical for us to keep an open mind, not gullible, not susceptible to anything that comes along, simply open enough that we are not caged in a prison behind our beliefs that may or may not be true. That's where I was when I was in the cult. If you had told me something like this when I was in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, I would have called you 50 million devil names. You ain't nothing but Satan, you Lucifer. You are the bright shining light that fell from heaven. You ain't nothing but the devil. You are Satan the devil, the roaring lion seeking to devour us from the book of Peter. Because that's what Jehovah's Witnesses say. That's what they roaring lion. Satan the devil is a roaring lion around every corner seeking to devour you. How do you live a life when you think that around every corner there's a roaring lion seeking to devour you? Fear and guilt. That's what they breed in people, pardon me, so that people can stay in the religion or the cult or whatever it is. Okay, so our anatomy. Why don't we have fur or fangs or claws or any other physical ability to catch, hunt, or kill prey without having to resort to tools? We can't hunt bison or squirrel or go fishing without making an external tool first. With the anatomy we've been given, we need outside help to survive, just like sheep. That's another creation. Didn't come from nature. We didn't come from nature where we're bioengineered. You know how people are like, they don't want to eat GMO. We're GMO. We are genetically modified organisms. Isn't that the joke? We don't want to eat GMOs, but we are GMOs. We are a genetically modified organism, as is a sheep. Why? Critical clue. Sheep are the only animal that need humans in order to survive. Why? Because they need humans to shear the sheep, shear all their, what do you call it? It's not fur, wool. Otherwise, they suffocate and die. That's not natural because everything in the natural world is self sustaining. Eagles, parakeets, falcons. Eagles are self sustaining. They actually break off their beak, break off their their claws, something like every 40 years, pluck out all their feathers because they have to regenerate. Super painful. They break their beak against a stone until it comes off so a new beak can grow. If they don't do all this painful, horrible process, and they can do it on their own, they're self sustaining. We're not self sustaining, and neither are sheep. So that tells you sheep are genetically modified organisms, and humans are genetically modified organisms. Okay, we can't hunt without a tool. We can't dig in the ground to even pull out a carrot or a beet. Our teeth are not made to even eat any root vegetable that you pull out the ground. You can't bite straight into potatoes and carrots and beets by as a normal course and expect to have your teeth 10 years from now. We can't do that. Why not? We need a shovel because you're genetically modified, beloved. How many species, this is the question, how many species on this planet have smooth, hairless, furless skin? One. We can't protect ourselves from the elements without having protective clothing. You have to put on a hood. You have to put on a hat. You have to put on coats, socks. You have to keep your extremities warm. You can't be outside naked, not like a bear or a fox. Homo sapiens sapien. We have that name according to scientists, what they tell us, that sapiens means wise or intelligent. So we are Homo sapiens sapien, modern day human. Homo sapien Neanderthal lensis, or the Neanderthals, are somewhat wise and intelligent, yet not as wise and intelligent as us. So the fact that we are so ill suited to our life, that we're a hybrid, we're manufactured, we're a non natural species, we come from a laboratory, genetically engineered for a purpose other than life in the wild, where all the non modified beings live. Dolphins weren't modified. Dolphins, killer whales, highest intelligence on this planet. Aquatic life. Clearly, this planet loves aquatic lives. We can't even go in the water without drowning. We can't even breathe underwater. This is a water planet. Why can't we breathe underwater without help, without all this apparatus? It's very unnatural. Why? Because this planet has proven to us that it is a water planet and it favors water beings. It does. So all the beings that are living in the water, they have an advantage. over the earthbound ones. We're just walking around, gravity is pressing in on us all the time. They're pretty much weightless in water, they can live longer. Highest intelligence on the planet are dolphins and orcas, not humans. Our brain is super small compared to theirs. So they're not modified. We are. So we have got to realize that that whole evolution picture, let's bring it up. Let's bring up that whole evolution picture. That I want to show you exactly what we're talking about here. This whole little evolution picture. This right here. Let's go to this. Uh-oh, pardon me. Okay. This thing right here, that's a lie. You know, first this, then this, then this, then this must be handyman. They call Homo habilis. They call him quote unquote handyman because he could use tools. Then this. This is a lie. But how many times have they put that in front of us? They have practically brainwashed us to this. Yet this is a lie. That's not what happened. Why? Well, if we go to our conversation that we had a few weeks ago, right here in this very same space, when we were talking about the African Stonehenge, let's remember part of what we were talking about that night. I want to call your attention to something very important in the African Stonehenge conversation. You can go back and watch that entire video. I want to show you something in that video, in this. So fascinating. So fascinating. So fascinating. Watch it again. It's just, okay, here we go. Here we go. Great Leap Forward, aka the human cognitive revolution. This is what evolutionary biologists say, that there was a great leap forward, that there was some human cognitive revolution, something pivotal in human evolution, where there was a dramatic surge in cognitive, cultural, and technological capabilities. This leap is believed to have occurred 50,000 to 70,000 years ago, though some evidence, I think it was 200,000 or 300,000 years ago. Great leap forward. And in evolutionary terms, this great leap forward should have taken hundreds of thousands or even millions of years if Darwin was correct to develop. But Darwin was correct in that he saw that some of our DNA closely resembled other species that were hominids. And that is absolutely correct. So let's look at some of them. Let's look at Lucy. Okay. So we have Lucy, who was found in Ethiopia in 1974. She dates to 3.2 million years ago. That's the name of the species. I can't even say it. Then we have Homo naledi, found in South Africa in 2013, but dating to 236,000 to 335,000 years ago. Homo naledi. There's a TV show about it. If you watch it, I think it's on the History Channel. Challenges the theory of evolution because Homo naledi, supposedly, these beings didn't know anything about worship or devotion, but they had burial rites. They had they had burials in caves with artifacts. So somehow 300,000 years ago, we had the ability to do cave paintings. We had the ability to bury our dead. We were mourning. We were putting items in grave sites with our deceased. That indicates a level of cognitive understanding that can perceive an afterlife. Do you think a chimpanzee is thinking about an afterlife? Do you think a chimpanzee? Yes, we do know elephants also. That's another high intelligence. I have to put them up there with the orcas, orca, and the dolphins is elephant. Elephant also acknowledges their dead and grieve their dead and mourn their dead. Okay, let's go to Homo denisova. Skeletal remains were found in Russia in 2010, dating to 50,000 to 300,000 years ago. Homo heidelbergensis, asserted to be an ancestor of Homo sapiens sapiens, Neanderthals, and Denisovans, and lived approximately 600,000 to 700,000 years ago. They're finding all these beings all over the planet, but Christians still want to tell you that God made Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago. Homo erectus, an important ancestor who seemed to have had the longest running duration, emerging about 2 million years ago to about 110,000 years ago. Homo erectus could have been the one. And Homo erectus had tools that were making tools, and it had the ability to harness and work with fire, as is evidence in the Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. So Homo erectus could have been the one that they grabbed and started doing genetic modifications on, scientific experimentation, to bring us into play. Homo habilis, which they call handyman. Homo habilis is a tool making being whose remains were discovered in Tanzania, depending on where you're from. I think people in Africa say Tanzania. I think we in America say Tanzania. I think people in the Western world say Tanzania, but I think people that are from there say Tanzania. Okay, however it's pronounced, someone please tell me if you're from there. How do we say it? If they were discovered in Tanzania in the 1960s, and who lived approximately 1.4 million to 24.4 million years ago. This species was known for the tools they created, earning it the name habilis, or handyman. Homo habilis is the one that evolutionary biologists call handyman, because this one was making some kind of tool. So let's go to the stories of what they tell us. And then, of course, Homo sapiens sapien, which is modern day humans who showed up on the scene about 300,000 years ago, matching perfectly with the timeline of the visitors from other star systems to this planet. So, what does our anatomy reveal about our origins? You decide, right? So, I'm not going to read the whole book to you, but I'm going to come off screen share for a minute to you cute shiny face. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to come off screen share for a minute. Stop screen sharing. And we're going to put our critical thinking hat on, right? Let's put our critical thinking hat on. New member. Money in the vortex, money in the vortex, money in the vortex. Welcome to being a new member. Yay. I do want to let you know, family, something wonderful is happening. I do want to let you know that the book that I've been working on is going to be coming out in softcover and hardcover later on in this year on Kickstarter. It is not going to be on Amazon. The paperback and the hardcover. It won't be on Amazon until probably another year after that. It will not be on Amazon. You'll be able to get it in paperback, a great deal with some other goodies coming with it. I'm creating. Pardon me. Because this book means so much to me, and this book means so much to the world. And this book means so much also for Christian witches, to free people from Deuteronomy and thinking that God hates witches. No, let's just dissolve all of that. Let's just dissolve all of that. So, if you buy the book on Amazon, I make updates to the book, the ebook. It's only in ebook form right now. Don't worry, I'll tell you when it comes out on paperback and hardcover with the extra goodies in it, like pictures and things like that. I'm cooking up something so delicious. So, when you get the ebook on Amazon, you are definitely going to have the updates because I've added things to the ebook as I go along and my findings expand. And if you bought the ebook directly from me on my website, I also update that. So when you go back into your ebook, you will see the updated version. Okay, so you're being updated if you have the ebook. That's the beauty of the ebook, that we can continue updating the ebook. And when we update the new manuscript to Amazon, Amazon changes what's in your Kindle and gives you the most updated version. I love that I can keep updating the ebook. Yet the paperback book, once it's in print, I can't update it anymore. So let me show you. I've been working on this book. It will not have this cover because it's going to have a brand new cover design when we get the paperback book. This is just a this is a proof copy, and we are going to be, where will the links be posted? I'll give you the post. I'll link you right now for the ebook. And then I'm going to post for you when we are going to have the paperback and the hardcover with pictures. I'm having artists create the pictures. It's going to be on Kickstarter. It's going to be so freaking amazing. So I'm going to give you the link now. If you are a member on the YouTube channel, get it as a gift. So all my new books that come out, you receive them as a gift if you are a member on the YouTube channel. But let me give you a link to Valerie Love Books, and you can get it right there, either from me or from Amazon. And if you know of authors that you love and you can have the opportunity to buy the book directly from the author on their Shopify store or on their website, that's always so good for authors because authors work really hard on what we do. And the only thing is that Amazon takes a good chunk of money, yet I don't mind because Amazon is an incredible partner and has put the book in front of a lot of people that would not have normally seen it. So for that, Amazon is very good at marketing. So I'm okay if you buy the book on Amazon because you will still be updated with in your Kindle. And if you buy it on my website, you'll still be updated in We Use Book Funnel as a independent author. We love our independent authors. We love our authors that are out there creating for the world. And you can always enrich an author's life if you buy direct from the author. That's always wonderful. Yet you can buy on Amazon too if you prefer that. It's whatever works for you. So when this comes out, it's also going to have a course with it. It's going to have pictures with it. It's going to have pictures from me around the world. It's going to have videos, PDFs, things like that, bookmarks, all of that. And this is not the cover that's coming out. This is the placeholder cover. The actual cover is being designed by cover designers. It's going to be amazing. And it is going to be on Kickstarter later this year. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So I am still working on this book. Can you believe it? I'm still working on this book. I love you. That's it for today's Witchy Wednesday. I'm here every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time talking about all the controversial things like the Anunnaki and the Bible, about ancient mysteries, about Christian witchcraft, about magic and the occult sciences, all of it. All of it. I just love all of that. All right. Let me see what the comment says on the Kickstarter. Will you have bundles? Yes. Thanks for the link. But I'm on website almost daily. I'm working through your decode book. Yes. I love it. Decode yourself. I love that. Oh, yes. I will have bundles on the Kickstarter. Oh, it's going to be so amazing. I think you all will love it. I think you all will love it. And I think you will love the art because I'm having art created because I feel like pictures are worth 1,000 words. So when you put illustrations in the book, I just think it brings everything to life. And I want to make this a whole world for you. Like this is an ambitious creation. And I just love it. Thank you for everything you do. I always appreciate all of the great information and knowledge you give us. Oh, Pamela, I'm so happy. Pamela, I love you. Mwah. I love you so much, Pamela. You're a member of the family. Family, this coming Saturday, we have a huge announcement. You're going to see that there's going to be a live stream that's coming Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time with a huge announcement. So stay tuned. It'll be posted to the Christian Witches YouTube channel, Valerie Love YouTube channel. I love you. Have a beautiful Witchy Wednesday. Mwah. Peace.